Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk Illuvium and why I honestly think it's going to be the #1 play-to-earn game, NFT game, crypto game, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's going to win the 2022 season. Now, this is biased towards me because the gameplay is exactly what I love. Having said that, I do think there will be other winners, other games that I think are going to compete really well. Things like Guild of Guardians and Big Time are the two big ones that I'm looking forward to. And I know a lot of people like Star Atlas and all that stuff, but that's not my style. But I honestly think I'm going to go through like 6 criteria here that I look through when I look at a game. And Illuvium for me personally, because there is going to be some personal bias in what I enjoy. If you don't like auto battlers, you're not going to like Illuvium as much. But I just think from my 6 criteria that I judge games off of, Illuvium has such a high standard, and I think it's really going to drive some massive attention from the general gaming world, not from the crypto gaming world, but from the general gaming world. I think it can really push some players across and do some big things. So let's get into it. And obviously, if you've watched the channel, you know I'm just super hyped about the game. And honestly, a lot of people love to talk about, you know, price predictions, all that sort of stuff, the Illuvium coin. I am invested in Illuvium, but as soon as the game comes, I don't care about that. It's going to be handy if it keeps producing some APY, but I'm more about the gaming side of things here. That's what I'm really excited about, more than the investment side of things. So, not financial advice. Nothing in here should be too financial anyway, but you know, covering my ass. Oh, and just quickly, we did hit 10,000 subscribers on this new channel, which is awesome. I thank you guys so much for the support. So we are going to do a $100 giveaway. It's just going to be a PayPal transfer because it's easier than paying gas fees on transferring ETH. So all you have to do is be subscribed and leave a comment. And then I'll do a draw about a week away, and I'll announce the winner in a community post and get you guys the winnings. So the 6 factors of the game that I'm going to look at in this one are going to be the aesthetics, the gameplay, the accessibility, the economics, the team, and the transparency. And then, you know, there's always something that doesn't really fall into one, which we'll just babble on about stuff at the end. So first of all, the aesthetics of the game. If you have watched any leaks or any of my videos on this game, you will know that I don't think there is any games out there that beat it aesthetically. Some could argue that Star Atlas does, but I would argue Star Atlas isn't even going to be a 2022 game or a 2024 game. I think by the time that full game is launched, it's going to be much further on. But yes, I do agree that game does have good graphics, but holy crap, the Illuvium graphics are smick. Von Neumann and the entire art team have been doing a fantastic job, and we should be, at the time of recording this, we should be like less than a couple weeks away from getting the first gameplay trailer. And after that happens, I think we'll get some more just gameplay footage, hopefully from the team. And the little sneak peeks that we have had, the in-game graphics are ridiculous. The artwork put behind it, the rendering, even down to things like the environment, the plants, the rocks, the water, the waterfalls, everything. It's just looking absolutely amazing, and aesthetics gets a straight A+. I don't care who you are or what criteria you have for aesthetics. I get that some aesthetic views, like the block aesthetic that some games are going for, is a niche aesthetic. Some people will like it, some people won't. I don't think this one is one that can be argued. It just looks so realistic and so cool. So that's my opinion on aesthetics. It's an A+. Next up, the gameplay. Now, the gameplay for me is going to get a really high rating. This is a completely personal thing on what type of gameplay you have. For me personally, growing up, Pokemon was life. I love catching monsters. Every game that came out that was kind of like Pokemon, where you could catch monsters, I loved. It was just a genre of game that I fell in love with, but I feel like Pokemon really just held the reins to it, and we haven't had any great versatility in the style of games from the genre, and I think we're going to get a good variety here with Illuvium. On top of that, auto battlers. I love auto battlers. I have another YouTube channel focused around a game that has auto battling mechanics. I just love the combat. I love the whole idea of auto battling because it's more the strategy behind it instead of, you know, just, you know, reaction time. You know, I'm getting old, guys. I'm 31. So, you know, I need to be that old guy playing chess, thinking slowly at the start of rounds. So for me, the gameplay, it combines two things that I absolutely love. And I think the open world play is going to be amazing. Just, roaming around, trying to capture those alluvials. Like I said, it's just something I absolutely love. And then the competitive scene in the auto battle of combat, along with the fact that you have customization on, well, you don't have personal, but like the team can take it in any direction you want, and the governance, like on, you can have different tournaments, they can set different rules for things, so you can keep it spicy as well, which I really do love. So gameplay as well, A+. Next up is accessibility. Now, it's not a straight A+ at the start for accessibility, because obviously I think a big one for accessibility is going to be mobile optimized, and they are working on mobile optimization next year. So sometime after the launch, hopefully within a year after the open beta, which is the first launch of the game, we will have mobile, which will give it much greater accessibility. So for me personally, I'd hope that before they do their full launch, where they do their full marketing campaign and everything, and actually announce it as a global launch, I'm hoping they'll have mobile ready, because I think mobile is a massive accessibility point for a lot of people around the world. Then we look at the free-to-play entry. You can play the game free-to-play, so it's accessible in that sense. I'm still hanging out to see how the free-to-play gameplay feels like for free-to-play players, but definitely accessible. You can play it without having any money, and in the future we will have the mobile accessibility, so looking good on that front too. Next up, we have the economics. Now, I've done a whole video talking about the economics of this game, and I don't think I've found a game where I like the economics more than this one. The fact that all the revenue generated in the game goes into a vault that is then used to purchase the ILV token off the market and distribute it to stakeholders. And the thing with stakeholders is, you may say that's just big investors and stuff like that. The early investors couldn't stake their tokens, so they're not getting that at the moment. And moving forward, if a mega whale jumps in and stakes it, it doesn't matter. The cool thing is, we do have an issue at the moment with the staking where gas is super high. If they fix that, the way I see it being really cool is that, like, just general players who may, think, oh, I might spend like, $300 on this game in a year, I'm hoping it gets to the point where that $300 that you would have spent, instead of putting it up front straight away, you could stake it and get returns on it, and then maybe that could fund your $300, maybe more, for more than a year. So I just really like the fact that, yes, you're giving it back to the stakeholders, which some people will say isn't the players, but if the players can make revenue in the game and then take that revenue and stake it, then they become the stakeholders, then you're giving it back to the players. So I just think the whole economics of the game is ridiculous, and amazing for the players, where the devs aren't just taking all the cash and just dropping themselves $900,000. I think it's amazing. Next up is the team, and I think the core team of Illuvium, the founders, is a really good balance. We have Kieran, we have Aaron, and we have Von Neumann. Von Neumann's stuck in his dungeon, hasn't done a reveal of who he is yet, because he's working tirelessly to get the game done, along with all the rest of the team. Next up, we have Aaron, who's doing more of the gameplay features of it, and from my chats with Aaron, I'm really excited for what the gameplay holds and the options they have and the flexibility that they'll take into the game. And then Kieran's more of the forward-facing person who's doing a lot of networking. He's been going around for long before I covered the game, doing interviews just to get exposure, not even big people, just getting anywhere he can to get as much exposure, just putting in the work. Now, Kieran does have some good Twitter posts as well, which I think some people may not agree with as much. But for me personally, I love the passion that Kieran shows publicly. I do agree that sometimes, it can be a bit too passionate. But hey, to me, if you're that passionate about your game, it really pushes forward the fact that you're not building it to make a bag and run away. You're building it because they're competitive people and they want to build the best possible game. That is the vibe I personally get from them, and I absolutely love it. But then as we go past that and we look at the rest of the team, I think we're up to 140 on the team-ish, which is a huge team, and they have been hiring fantastic people. When you look at just the production of all the art assets and everything, the art team they've been hiring is absolutely amazing. Then we go into their recent recruitments for marketing and everything. They've been doing top-notch recruiting, and they're not afraid to spend money. They've raised all this money, and they're actually not afraid to go out and go, okay, if we hire this many people, we can speed it up, we can make this better, we can do stuff. So the team and the expansion of the team is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Once again, a bit more personal biased. Aaron and Kieran are Australian dudes, so me being Australian probably adds a little hidden tick to my book, but nonetheless, I think one thing you can't argue with is the fact that they're not afraid to expand that team and recruit good people for it. So I think team gets an A+ for me as well. And then we have transparency. Now, if you've been in the Discord and you go to the character leaks section, the amount of stuff that we are seeing from the game is ridiculous. As for like just smooth gameplay and just recorded gameplay how it is, we haven't seen much of that yet. I believe it's because they want to present their gameplay trailer first to get a really crisp look of max graphics, you know, cinematic type camera angles from the in-game graphics to get a really good look at it. And then we should get a bunch more gameplay stuff. But like from all the leaks of alluvials, characters, environments, movements, modeling, everything, you can basically piece together what the whole game looks like, and they're very transparent. The founders are always there in the Discord. At least one of them every day is in there chatting in the general chat for at least a few minutes just to say hi to everyone and answer some questions and all that sort of stuff. So the transparency of the team has been fantastic, and it leads me into the next topic that I wanted to touch on, which sort of falls into a few categories, but that is the governance. The thing with the game is, because you do have a governance system where token holders vote people in as council members, and then you can put in IIPs, which is an Illuvium improvement protocol, something I can't remember what IIP stands for, but you can put in suggestions and then it can get voted on by the council to actually go forward and make changes to it. So the transparency in the production in the game and the production of the game just is inherently there due to the governance of just the whole system. You don't have you know, the developers sitting in the background just making their own decisions and not having anyone to sort of oversee them. You do have the council members that do oversee everything, and they're in close contact with them, working on everything together. So I think that's just another tick on the box, but that pretty much rounds it up. In case you haven't realized, I am just incredibly excited for Illuvium. A few other games as well coming out next year. I think it's going to be a fantastic year just for gaming in general when we start getting some quality games drop in the play to earn space, and we can actually see what the gaming side of it is, not just the earning side of it, because that's all we're really seeing from games at the moment. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.